Hello and welcome back to this series of VMware Virtualization 101. My name is Rahim Shaikh, and in this video I'm going to talk about the virtualizations and types of virtualization. Let's get started. So what is virtualization? Virtualization is a concept which basically a virtualize software, virtualize your components which are in the data center with the help of software. So I hope everyone is aware about the concept called software and hardware. Very high level, the software means the things which you cannot see and touch, and hardware means the things which you can see and touch. Similarly, virtualization, the virtual machine, it's kind of a software or piece of files which basically you cannot see and touch, but they are running on one big hardware. There are many types of virtualizations are available in IT industry. We have a compute virtualization, and the compute virtualization means the resources of the compute part like a CPU, memory, network, that gets virtualized. It's called a virtual machine virtualization. We have a storage virtualization. We do have a network virtualization as well. So there are so many things which we do in IT world that's virtualized in terms of better use of hardware, cost, and saving in the cost. Then you can scale the environment, and there are so many features comes with the virtualization. There are two types of main virtualizations in VMware. As we are learning about a VMware technology or any other technology, there are basically main two concepts in the server virtualization. So let's concentrate that what we are doing. So what we are doing, what used to happen earlier, we used to have a data center, and in the data center we used to have rack. We still have a data center, okay? And in the data center, what we have a rack, and in this rack we have servers placed. And depending upon your workload, depending upon your requirement, you have to insert the servers. For example, you have a web server, you have AD server, you have DB, you have file server, so on and so forth. If you have multiple applications and you require multiple web servers, multiple database servers, testing servers, you have dedicated lab for the development team. And just similarly, this rack and compute resources goes on and on as per the organization requirements, or as any company grows from start or small to medium to the enterprise. And we used to have a number of data centers, and every server used to have their own hardware. Just to save on that cost, space, and the cost, electricity, there are so many things which virtualization help to save. But just to save amount of this hardwares and the storage as well, and the network, because each server needs to have connectivity with storage. So for storage connectivity you need a storage switch. For network connectivity you need that many number of network switches, and for you also need to have the router, security devices, and so many devices as per your compute requirement. And just to save on that, the virtualization came into the picture. So the VMware started their features or selling as a server consolidation. They were selling their product. VMware 4.0 and 3.5, they started calling it as a consolidation project, where you can consolidate everything in one rack, or you can put most of the servers in one physical server. So I will explain you that as well. But let's come back to the previous discussion, what I was explaining, the types of virtualization. So in server virtualization, I have two main types. One is called a bare metal virtualization. So in bare metal virtualization, what happens is your virtual machines, I'll create a diagram and I'll explain you. There is another type called hosted virtualization. So let me explain you with the better diagram. So let's assume we had this rack, and with the help of server virtualization, VMware came and they said, what you can do, you have, let's assume you have 50 servers in your rack. Probably the rack is not that big, you can put 50 servers. Sometimes yes, if you have smaller servers like 1U servers, because a rack mostly comes with 42U or 47U as per the site. So you can have total 50 servers in your data centers, let's assume. And what you can do, the VMware says you can handle that load on 5 servers. So just buy a big 5 powerful servers and you can have those 50 servers running as a virtual machine. So let's assume I have one big box of physical server. You install a hypervisor. When you install the hypervisor, that gives you the access to create a small virtual machine, and you can define the size for that virtual machine, and you can run those VMs as individual operating systems and individual box. So your development team and your other users will not understand whether it's a physical box or virtual machine. They will have the access to the server via remote desktop or application. However, this physical box will be capable of handling, let's say, 10 virtual machines load. So earlier you were having 50 servers in your data centers. Now that workload can be handled by 5 servers. So that will save on your space. That will save on your electricity. That will save your cooling. Also, overall, that will be savings in terms of dollars or money. Because earlier you were having 50 servers, now you are just having 5 servers, and you need to have that physical availability or physical space for those 5 servers and cooling as well as electricity for 5 servers only. Then to manage these servers, the VMware also came with so many features. I'll be having a separate sections on that, of course. Second part, so I was trying to explain you the bare metal virtualization. So this VM has a direct access to the physical hardware. The hypervisor is just a small footprint which basically provide access virtual machine to the hardware directly. Okay. In hosted environment, I'm sure everyone is familiar with the hosted environment because everyone must have used a features or application called VMware Player, where you can create a virtual machine on your laptop. So your laptop, for example, your laptop having enough RAM and CPU, when you go ahead and you install a VMware Player or VMware Workstation or any other virtualization software like a Microsoft virtual server used to come. So if you install that, you can create a virtual machine on your laptop or desktop, and from your laptop you can provide some CPU, RAM and resources to the virtual machine, and you can install the operating systems on that virtual machine. But in this case, what happened, let's assume you have this laptop, all right? In this laptop, let's say you have 8 gig of RAM and Core 2 Duo or quad-core CPU, right? On top of it, you have the operating systems. Then you have that virtualization software, which is Player or Workstation. And then you create the virtual machine. As the laptop does not have that much of resources, also it has this player has a dependency on the OS. So your virtual machine will talk to the hardware via your operating system, which is on your laptop, and that put additional burden on the hardware. But here in the bare metal virtualization, your virtual machines will have direct access to the physical hardware, and whenever if you compare the bare metal and the hosted virtualization, it's virtualization which will help you with the more performance, and also it's a agile solution. But yes, this hosted virtualization is also a platform which can be used for a development or training and testing purpose. There is one more virtualization type, and it's called a nesting virtualization. I will be explaining that because I don't want to make you confuse that. But as of now, in types of server virtualization, there are two main types which people ask in the interviews, and they talk about in solution whenever you do the solutioning or implementation for any application or the data center overall implementation. We talk about the bare metal virtualization most of the time, and few people they also talk about the hosted virtualization if they wanted to just have a couple of servers for testing and development purpose. But most of the time we will be talking about bare metal virtualization, because in this training we will be talking about this hypervisor. I did not name this hypervisor as a ESXi or ESX because I don't want to put so many things on your head. So just understand you have physical servers, kind of a hypervisor, and a virtual machine running on it. So same funda or same things comes with the VMware. The same things comes with the Microsoft Hyper-V as well. And that is the reason I was just trying to correct your concept with the bare metal virtualization and the hosted virtualization. With that, next video I will be explaining on how we can install the bare metal virtualization, how we can use it, and what are the way how to do the calculation for server consolidation. There are so many things to talk about, and I will be explaining slowly on that part. I hope you might have learned something from this and you might have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel. If you have any questions, put that in the comment box. I will try to respond. I'm really good with the responding questions. And thank you so much for watching this video again, and see you in another video. Bye bye.